This afternoon we're in Cherbourg, Normandy, for the next part of my travel adventure to northern France. This is the Place de General de Gaulle, which is the main centrepiece of the town, with its theatre and fountain. And with that, welcome to Carl's Travel Channel, where every journey costs less than £200. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. And always remember, the nearest exit may be behind you. A close-up look here of the map of the local area to get some orientation. I came across this on the fairly long walk to my hotel, which was about half an hour, but gosh, I was not expecting to find what I was about to see. Online it appeared as a quirky, chic residence, but gosh, this is an abandoned old hospital. I was starting to get very nervous as to what I would find inside. Its walls are even fully decorated with graffiti. I make my careful entry through what is probably the nicest part of this place, the common rooms, which looks more like some kind of old university dorm. The sofa over there doesn't look too bad, but I don't think I'll sit on it. And welcome to L'Autre Lieu. Next door to here, a little kitchen is provided should you wish to self-cater. The check-in receptionist was very friendly, however usually it's self-check-in, and I think had I done that, I would have checked out straight away. These old dingy corridors, however, really are beginning to give me the creeps. It is also freezing cold in here. The apprehension and nervousness builds up as I try to find my room. I arrive at room block B. Gosh, these rickety old doors don't close or open well. Making it inside my room and the many notices on the door, let's have a look around. There are two fairly rickety beds. And I think the pièce de résistance to the room was the curtain that did not close. I would have to hang some items from my suitcase up there instead. Now what is this thing? Besides also being freezing cold, the bathroom in the hotel was actually not too bad. It looked like it had been renovated at one point, with some soap provided, the sink, and a shower. I did not really have any complaints about the bathroom, other than its very hospital-like clinical feeling. Anyhow, I briefly make an escape down the canal, because I need to find some food before the night. So of course I make it to the obligatory McDonald's, where I order some traditional French cuisine and hamburgers. The meal is followed by a pint of Irish courage to help me get through the night. Back in the grounds of the hotel, at night it is very poorly lit, so I say goodnight, and you may or may not see me on the other side. Well, good morning from Cherbourg, and the good news is I've made it through the night. That was my bedroom, just inside there. This is actually the former maritime hospital de Cherbourg, also known as the hospital Ren la Bas, and it's now used as a filming location, and also a quirky art space, as well of course as the L'Autre Lieu Hotel for unsuspecting guests like myself. Right, let's get out of this place whilst I still can. Phew, I'm out. Just the walls to navigate through. The hotel cost me a total of £53. Quite expensive, as you can see, for what you get. From here it's about a 20 to 25 minutes walk back into the centre of Cherbourg. I'm very happy and delighted to see the back of that hotel. I make it to the warm safety of Poppy's Cafe, which is very nice and friendly. I enjoy a proper latte and a Coca-Cola to get the day going. Hi, so I'm back in the middle of Cherbourg, but I've still not found any breakfast. The cafes in town only seem to serve coffee and drinks and no pastries even. It seems like a lot of the locals actually buy their food in a shop and they take it to the cafe and eat it in there. But anyhow, I'm not sure whether that's allowed or not, so let's not risk it and go over here and see if I can find something. I'm now on the bridge which lifts up in the middle of the harbour. Indeed, yesterday it was closed to let a boat through. I look over the harbour with the much nicer looking Hotel Mercure on the other side. I really wish I now have stayed there, but it was way too expensive. At over €100 a night on my dates. we cross the unique drawbridge, some information here about the trade dock. It looks like it was ransacked by the English long ago. Now this old sailing ship is very interesting. It is the STS Kapitan Burchard. It was a Polish training ship built in 1918, also at one time leased to Sweden. There is a cafe here in the front of the large Carrefour hypermarket in the middle of town, which interestingly seems to be the most dominant building in the centre. It's called the Columbus Cafe, and they might do some pastries in there, so maybe I'll go and check that out first. And apologies, I keep getting battered by the ferocious wind on the harbour. The Mercure Hotel I just mentioned is off here to the left. A wide selection of shops in here. And indeed, luckily I do find a cafe latte in the entrance to the Carrefour and a French baguette melt. Food done, it's time to head to the museum. There seems to be some old railway tracks here that run right through the heart of the town up to the docks. I'm not sure what this noise is, or if to be worried, but it sounds like an air raid siren. Arriving at the Cité de Mer, and for some reason it sounds like there's an air raid siren going off in the background. Let's hope not. The impressive facade of the grand old ocean liner terminal, with the Isle of Inisheer to the side. There is a very sad memorial here hidden away to a 2002 bus tragedy in Karachi. Now, yes, what is this? I spy over here. Over here is arguably the museum's star attraction, its nuclear submarine, La Redoutable. We will go inside her a little later in the video. This is actually the largest submarine in preservation anywhere in the world. It really is impressive. Okay, time to head back inside and enter the museum. I've already bought my ticket on booking.com for £15. Inside is this fascinating collection of deep-sea miniature submarines. If you want to see this part, you don't even need to pay. It's just open to the public. And up there on the ceiling is the most famous of them all, the Alvin. And the Alvin discovered the wreck of a much more famous ship, which is on that sign there. Now I'm ticketed, I'm back on the other side of the fence, and some more information here about La Redoutable. Here is the entrance to the previous ship in question, the Titanic of course. So it looks like most of this museum is in different screenings and auditoriums, so we'll go and check out how this all works. It's a little bit confusing. But alas, I've now got distracted. What is that through there? The names of all the cities engraved on the floor where you could once sail to from here, and this indeed was one of the ports of call of the Titanic on her maiden voyage. However, right opposite here is an amazing view of the Brittany Ferries Salamanca. And wow, there she is, a stunning view of the Salamanca, an E-Flexer class ferry. And just poking out from behind her there, also in port today, is the Galicia. These are Brittany Ferries, Spanish twins, used on their routes to and from Santander and Bilbao. A vast number of Brittany ships have been in port on this changeover week. And please remember to like and subscribe, it really does make a difference. I am also now on Instagram. I have no idea, however, why there are modern boarding bridges from the museum here to the ferry. Back downstairs here is the main entrance to the old ocean liner part of the terminal, with some historic photos. But right now, I really want to go on board what I came here for, La Redoutable. I enter the engine room and you get given a free electronic guide to listen to, which is in English, or an array of many other different languages. Gosh, there is certainly a lot of old pipes and cables in here. I won't pretend to know what everything is, so I can't guide you through, so I'll let you sit back and watch. And in case you were wondering, the nuclear reactor has been taken out of the submarine. I'm not sure I would fancy climbing up here, underwater. This certainly reminds me of the hunt for Red October. And gosh, if this is the nicest cabin, I dread to think how small the other ones are. It makes me feel better about my bunk on Brittany Ferries. I cannot imagine sleeping in here for potentially weeks or months at sea. Coming up, there is the array of different kitchens and pantries. And of course the crew rest area and common room. Back out into the museum through a general submarine style exhibit. And in this final part, you can get a good look up a periscope.
Well, after going on board the submarine, I thought that was really good and worth the wait, the long 1 hour wait at the end for it to open. There's a bus stop here also, which I assumed looks quite abandoned. However, a bus has just arrived. I won't bother using it now, but it looks like it takes you from here direct into the town. I'm going to have a quick look here up on the battlements, or the promenade on Mer as it's called. And a great view over the marina and the Navy base behind in the background. You also get a good view here of the actual museum itself.
Down the end here is a monument to those lost at sea. It was inaugurated here in 1960.
I thought the bus was actually parked on the grass for a moment.
But alas, time had run out and it was time to head back to the ferry terminal.
Well, I'm here in the terminal and waiting to go. Check-in took quite a long time actually, however, the terminal is nice and quiet, so hopefully there won't be any long queues. I'll see you on the other side.
Before we go a look around the fairly empty terminal building with the sad abandoned Stella Line desks, as they no longer sail here. Security was very quick and easy, even the EES, and I was on the transfer bus direct to the vessel. I guess it was so quick as there was only 5 of us on board, and over there you could see the Condor Voyager in her final days in Condor livery. Brace yourselves, we're going in. And here we are, entering the nose of the ship. And welcome aboard the Barfleur, beginning with a classic view of the ship's lifebelt.
Well, as you can see, that's it, we're on board the Barfleur, and I've done what I always do when I get on board a new ferry and come straight upstairs on deck. And actually, it's not a new ferry because I was on this last year when I accidentally ended up in Caen, which you can watch the video about all on my channel. Behind me there, you can see the nameplate sign, whilst we still get a bit of daylight. The Condor Voyager is also laid up over there, currently being repainted to Brittany Ferries livery.
The Barfleur was built in 1992 at the Massa Yards, Turku, Finland, similar to the Normandy, another Brittany Ferries ship which I sailed on last year. With that now gone, she's now the oldest and smallest ship in the Brittany Ferries current fleet, although by no means she should be the worst. It was actually built for the subsidiary Truckline Ferries. There seems to be some contention about whether she's the MV or the MS Barfleur. If you know, let me know in the comments below.
Well, it's a very old, scruffy old lifebelt down there.
The Barfleur also spent a brief period working for DFDS on the Dover-Calais route, where she was named the Deal Seaways back in 2012, returning to Brittany Ferries the following year. across what looks like a helipad, although I'm not sure it is one. Maybe you can let me know. Over there to the side are two of her sisters, but I'll return to those in a moment.
And from here you get the amazing classic look at her twin funnel arrangement.
Gosh, it's windy up here, so let's head down and see what we find down here. The lifeboats here are all interesting, raised up on very high platforms. Why this is, I have no idea, and how you're supposed to get up to them in an emergency, I don't know. And I do apologise, as the light is drawing very dark, my camera is struggling a little. I make it to the far stern of the ship, which is fully loaded with trucks.
And it's certainly a lot more busy than my sailing on the way out, where there were no cars at the back.
The outside doors open nice and easily, something not always common on a ferry. And yes, you've guessed it, it's time now to head to the bar. Now I wonder if this is the same seat I had last year. I'll have to check my old video to find out. But there's no rest for the wicked, and I can hear our engines burst into life, and the funnels start pouring with smoke. She's almost ready to set sail. Now let's take a look up here and explore some of the ship's higher decks in the dark. Seeing this classic view of her stern really is a blast from the past from last year. Aha, now what is this? I spy over here. Yes, it's the ship's plate. You can barely make it out in the darkness, but it certainly mentions the Massa Yards and the Helsinki new shipyard, built in 1992. She was yard number 485. And as we are now about to set sail, it's worth pointing out this is the 1815 sailing from Cherbourg to Poole, scheduled to arrive at 21:45. Let's see if she's on time. The cost of the sailing was incredible, only £16 for a one-way foot passenger fare, and this was booked less than a month before travel, where I've often found you could get the best prices. View of the nameplate of the Barfleur, well lit in the night.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Captain officers and the crew would like to welcome you on board the ship Barfleur. We will be arriving in Poole at 10 o'clock British time. The time used on board is British time. We hope you have a pleasant trip. Thank you.
And so, here we go.
Your attention please. We advise you to switch off your mobile data and to put your phone on airplane mode to avoid extra cost due to satellite connection. Thank you.
l'ensemble du navire. Au même moment, un flash blanc est émis à l'attention des personnes malentendantes. À ce signal, les passagers devront regagner un lieu de rassemblement et suivre rigoureusement les instructions de l'équipage. Des gilets de sauvetage vous seront alors remis. En cas de situation critique, sur décision du commandant, un signal constitué d'une succession d'au moins 400 noms sera diffusé. Les passagers seront alors dirigés vers les différents moyens d'évacuation. Nous vous invitons à...
You can just about make out Irish Ferries Isle of Inisheer over there in the far distance, which sails up to Dublin. With that whistle, bon voyage, and here we go. The two other Brittany Ferries E-Flexers moored up here today, the Galicia and the Salamanca, are brilliantly illuminated in the night. This video was filmed after the last week of the summer season, so it's basically a changeover week when all the ships here come to port and then swap for their winter duties, making it very busy at Cherbourg. The ferry is now clanking and rattling as it makes a 180-degree turn out of its berth. France in the background, a stunning view of her stern decks, brilliantly illuminated. We then leave the port, passing the illuminated breakwater below. Beautiful moonlight over the English Channel, and wow, what is that? There is a boat chasing us at quite a high speed. I was about to go and get food, but I'll keep a lookout and see what's going on here. There is also this insanely bright lit object in the water, which for a while I thought was a UFO, but it's some kind of oil rig thing. That boat is drawing in, so let's go over here and see what's going on. Aha, it's a pilot's boat. These are used to send a member of port staff on board the ship for berthing and unberthing. She's trying her best to give us chase and catch us up. Now let's see what happens. She is slowly trying to angle her way in to get closer and closer to the ferry. The pilot boat then pulls in to the side of the Barfleur, and in an incredible operation, the pilot jumps off and is on board and away. Right after staying outside to see this, I desperately now need some food. Before entering the restaurant, a look here at the duty-free store, with its usual duty-free goods on offer, and amazingly for Brittany Ferries, it's even open. Anyhow, I'm feeling very hungry, so time for the self-service. A summary of the various options here on offer. Now follow me on my journey through, beginning with the cutlery. and very strangely Brittany Ferries always offer the desserts first. Today I go for the €13.50 meal and dessert option. I think I'll have one of these today. It looks very Moorish. The hot food is not self-service and you must wait for the server.
And so I've gone for the fish and chips, with the dessert of course. So, here we go.
It was really very delicious and only cost €16.50 for 2 courses. Now, what is that I spy over there? I think it's the driver's lounge. Usually these you cannot see inside, but alas, this one you can. So we can have a little peek here and see what it's like. Nothing too exciting though, so let's take my tray back with the food and head out of the restaurant back to the bar. I head to the bar via the outside deck to walk some of the dinner off. The lights of France dwindle into the distance as the Barfleur steams through the night. Back now, inside. This being one of their older ferries, the games room is a lot larger than on the new. But as I make it to the bar, the sea becomes rather rough and the ferry starts shaking. One distinct issue here is a lack of plug sockets available, so I had to leave my phone down here almost on the floor. Though I did discover after 1 or 2 seats do have plugs, the E-flexers have a lot more. This seat, for example, has one, and you can see the nice bar lit up for Christmas. A quick look at her deck plans. Now down this corridor reminds me of my trip this time last year on her, because this is where the cabins are located. Alas, I do not have one today to show you. And whoever did this really has a sense of humour, and it made me laugh. Ashtrays are provided outside here for anyone who is watching who is smoking. I've not explored down here yet, so let's go down and take a look. Well, there is nothing down here at all, so it's time to head back up. Within no time at all, we enter the natural barriers of Poole Harbour, past sandbanks, which, if you wish to see itself, you'll have to watch on the next video. Sadly, I've still not been on the famous chain ferry, however, I did go to see the beach. Just before we arrive into Poole, as we've got this little time here, we'll go through the all-important trip costings. The creepy hotel was £53, the Maritime Museum £15, the Brittany Ferries foot passenger ticket £16, and the Travelodge Poole £36, bringing a grand total of £120. And just like magic, the Levante jet appears from the mist. This is DFDS's high-speed craft, or INCAT, which now operates from Poole to Guernsey, a voyage of which I took last year on the old Condor Liberation, which sadly you can no longer do as a day trip. See the video on my channel.
Thank you for traveling with us aboard the Barfleur. We do apologize for this delay, and we do thank you for your understanding. Thank you.
As she just said, due to high winds on the channel, we've arrived around half an hour late.
And we're now making the 180-degree turn into Poole, into our docking berth.
We then had to go downstairs to wait in the old-fashioned recliner seating lounge. This is exactly the same as my trip on her last year, at least you get to see it. It It is not bad by any means, with plenty of legroom. However, I really don't think I'd want to sleep in here overnight. Alighting the ship was down a ramp, and it really did not take long at all, so we were now here on the transfer bus, about to head into the terminal for passport control. A final nice view, and wave goodbye for now to the Barfleur. There was only about 5 of us on the transfer bus, so passport control was nice and quick and easy. Back here now, crossing the old-fashioned bridge past the Sunseekers Yacht Yard. You could see this in the daylight in my Poole to Guernsey video.
And well, I made it to my Travelodge room, and very strangely, they've given me a triple. So actually, this room is a quad, which is really quite bizarre. So considering it's just me staying here, I'm not quite sure why they've given me this. I guess maybe because I checked in late after the ferry. And the view, of course, of the bathroom with shower. Now, apparently the hotel bar is open till 4 AM, so we'll go down and check that out now. And then we'll hopefully get some shut-eye ready for tomorrow. But of course, it's the last day of my holiday, and even though I'm back in the UK, I may as well make the most of it.
A few nice touches here in the room, such as this bottle opener on the end of the desk. As you can see here, the room has good lighting controls, and a plug socket right by the bed, with USB available also.
Sadly though, it's just me, so I don't have any guests here to party with. But it's been an absolutely fantastic journey, and thank you very much for coming along and joining me. I'll see you, of course, on the next one.
The following morning, I'll be taking the Purbeck Breezer from here to Sandbanks. For that, you'll have to wait for the next episode. And with that, thank you for watching Carl's Travel Channel. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you, of course, on the next one. Now what is that? It's time to wake up and smell the coffee. Complimentary, of course, in my Travelodge.